go. We are starting off with Team 2, looking at Vape Slayer. And with the flight path yet to be revealed, we could be in for a very action-packed match today. And here we go. So the plane has just taken off and we are still with Team 2 at the moment, with a flight path crossing through Hospital Gatka, just to the side of Pachinki, and the Novo Repnoi, one of the hot drops on the Erangel match, and a well-known location for pretty decent loot. You are likely to find a sniper or two at that location, and with the bridge nearby, you can be almost certain that there will be some bridge campers. And here we see a couple of teams jump early on, with teams 16, 15, 13, 7, 19 being one of the first few teams to jump on today's match, with a few going towards the Georgia Pole area and spreading across the left side of the map. We are still with Team 2, and we will switch over to another team very shortly to see what happens on landing. And here we also now see Team 5 going towards Military Base, Team 6 and 18 going towards Novo, with Team 7 partially separated towards the left side of the map near to Primorsk, where Team 12 have just made their home, with Teams 13, 14, 15 and 16 all nearby to Georgia Pole. So whilst we leave Team 2 to continue looting, let's have a look at the Georgia Pole teams and see what's going on up there. And here we see a knock with Raid Pop getting Bambi, with shots being fired, with Team 13 going against Team 10, with a member of Team 10 on the balcony there being shot at by Prism Revy. So let's have a quick look around and see what is happening now, with Team 10 taking cover in that building just there, with SF Abstract to the left, and there we have Remy just moving across the forecourt towards another building, being shot at from 145 and 290 by Prism Revy over there. It appears as though we only have two members of Team 13 in this location, with the others spread far, with Team 3 at southeast towards the hospital, and Prism Sonia just coming over the mountain there. So with Bambi down and out, it leaves Prism with three members of the team left. And there we see Abstract getting a grenade knock on Yoki just by the wall there, trying to take cover, with Abstract on the roof firing back, with Raid Pop and Raid Fulgur shooting from the floor, with Prism Revy pushing in gradually now, with Prism Sonia far out towards 125. And there was the Abstract firing back towards Raid, with Fulgur now moving in towards the building where Abstract is located. Moving up to the second floor with smokes being thrown. And there we see Abstract jumping down from the roof, going back inside, with Fulgur trying to get into the smoke to revive a teammate, and Abstract firing back towards Rami, who is just healing by that wall there. with Revi just by the wall at 285. And there we see Yoki now up and running. And Abstract gets knocked by Raid Pop, with grenades being thrown. And there we see Abstract taking cover on the balcony, with Prism Sonia getting a knock on Vape there, with Fulgur killing Abstract there with an Uzi, and Prism Sonia being killed by Vape Christian. And there we see Rami getting the kill on Revi, meaning that this team has been squad wiped. So whilst we leave Team 10 to heal and recover, let's move over to another team to see how they're getting on. And here we find ourselves with Team 18JX there, who are looting in Nova Repnoi, holding what appears to be an M4 and a DP28. Both powerful weapons, but with a DP28, what you need to consider is the reload time. In a full-on fight, those couple of seconds it takes to reload a DP28 may be the difference between losing and winning that fight, with Ali just picking up a bit more 5.56 from that Scar and equipping his M4. So although at the moment, if we look at the map, Team 18 appear to be on their own at the moment, with a few teams near to the bridges, it could be a full-on fight when they try to get to zone, which appears to be cutting off military, so it looks as though it will be a mainland final circle. And we are 6 minutes in to match number 1, with the zone closing in 3, 2, 1. There are 66 players still alive. We are looking at Team 18, sorry. So stay tuned and we will jump over to another team very shortly. And here we see a flare up towards northwest and a red zone just being announced near to Team 7. Let's jump over to Teams 21, who appear to be coming into contact with Team 16. And there we have PDX Arrow driving towards the score just on the compound beforehand in a Dacia, possibly picking up his teammates, getting ready to move on to the next location. So let's have another look at the map. And we have Team 11 in Roshok, Team 16 at the school, and Teams 21 approaching thick and fast, with Teams 4 near to the drop, Teams 10 near to another drop on the left-hand side, with Team 14 at Georgia Pole at the moment. No teams appear to be shooting at the moment, but I can almost guarantee that will change very, very shortly. So let's jump over to another team now and have a look at Team 4. And here we are looking at Knight, who has just jumped into a buggy parked inside that building there, driving towards 35, just between north and northeast, driving away from the team, going to another building to continue looting, armed with what appears to be an M762 and an M4, with a forescope just nearby. And a flare drop coming in towards northeast. Just returning to the team now. Let's just leave there for a second and have a look at the flare, which is coming in towards 40, towards team number 9 there. So with team 4 being the nearest in proximity, they may choose to try and steal that flare, but nothing is happening at the moment. But let's just stay with it and we will see what happens shortly. And there we have just seen 2 flares go up, one towards 230, another towards 240. Whether that has come from the same team, I am not yet sure. But 2 flares up so close together, that is just asking for trouble. And as we continue, we see Task Mill falling to perhaps his death there. Let's have a look. No, he's just been knocked, falling from a vehicle, being revived by Andrex there. And there we see Task White in the distance and Team 3 to the right. Now, in this scrim, we have seen a couple of teams split up. In most matches, you would advise against doing that, just because the risk might be too great. And if a teammate gets knocked, if you are not nearby, then there is a good chance that they may not make it any further. However, at times, splitting up is the best option, especially if you are considering things like rotation and pushing. And there we see Team 7 looking at Team 21, who have just got their own flare drop, and shots are being fired, with Emil getting a knock on Van there, and shots being returned. And let's just have a quick look. So we have Team 21 over at 95, with Van being knocked. We have Team 10 towards 245, and we have members of Team 7 just moving in, with smokes being thrown now. And there we see Team 7 with a kill to their name. They're just rushing nasties now, with White being knocked along with Marina, who's just been revived and is healing up. And we've now lost Task White, with nasties just on the roof there. And Andrex and Emil coming up now, with Nasties running in and managing to knock Andrex there. And as we now see him rush downstairs, with Nasties continually shooting, leaving Marina and Emil the last standing members, whilst Andrex is knocked. And there he prepares a grenade, throws down the stairs, and manages to knock Andrex and Emil, leaving Marina the last standing member of this team. And there we see Nasties getting the kill on Emil, Andrex, and teammate getting Marina, meaning that squad has been wiped. So whilst Team 21 continue looting and rewarding themselves for what has been a great play there, let's jump over to another team and see how they are getting on, with a red zone pushing in Team 14 from Georgia Pol inside the zone, with teams 10 and 3 quite close together. So let's jump down now to team number 10 and see how they're getting on. And here we are looking at Raid Pop, who is aiming towards team 21, but without having a clear line of sight. It would be a waste of bullets at this moment to start shooting, but they have spotted a flare, a drop just coming down from 50, with team number 10 having 3 kills so far, and we are 15 minutes, roughly halfway through game number 1, with 56 players still alive. It is still very much all to play for. And here we see Pop pushing out the back, spotting a Dacia being driven at southeast, going to the left, away from Pachinki. And now we see a Jeep being driven out, with Pop jumping into a buggy, with Team 10 taking 3 separate vehicles, with more knocks coming in now, with AG and Rog having a fight amongst themselves. So let's have a quick look over here, with AG fighting Team 4 and Team 19. With Next Level being killed, McGinsky being knocked, and Jay and AG still alive, trying to get to their fallen teammate. And that is McGinsky accidentally being killed. So that is 2 players down for team number 9. We now see players being taken down by the play zone to the left side there. With Emco still outside of zone and not at the moment, with Namubis and Richie on the far left side of the map. They appear to have been separated. What the reason was for that, we will not know at this point in time. But we then see Vape Christian getting a kill there. And this appears to be the end of Emco's match for match number 1, leaving 2 players left with team 6, with the play zone finishing Emco off. And there we see fellow teammate Namubis driving and Richie just driving in towards the top left-hand side of the next zone, possibly coming into contact with team 14 and 15. And here we see team 4, 9 and 17 coming quite close together. So let's jump over there briefly and have a quick look with Jay lying prone, equipping a scar, with Richie getting a knock on Donis, and team 5 just coming up from the right hand side with shots being fired, and that is Richie getting another knock, Shine being knocked there, and Queen being knocked also. And that is the end for Vape. Queen being finished off by Dragon there. So whilst Jay lies prone and decides which direction to run in, let's have a quick look at Richie, who's just managed to get a couple of knocks with an M24 firing towards team 14. And there we see Nabuvis getting shot at whilst driving away inside a Jeep, with a drop towards southeast just ahead of them, with Mustafa being killed there, Slayer being killed also. We are 21 minutes into game number 1, with a drop just on the left there. Going towards team 21 is team 6, and they are just stopping by the truck here just to scope in on a building whereby a possible team could be located. And there we see Arrow getting a kill on Endrit, and Hayden being knocked also. And as we leave Richie to continue looking around, let's move over to another team and have a look at Nia and Nix. With Nia driving on a motorbike, possibly looking as though Nix is not going to survive this one. And there we have it. Vape Nix has been taken out of today's match, leaving Vape Nia, the last remaining member of team number 5, armed with a crossbow, which, although it is a strong weapon, it might be a bit problematic when you try and get a long distance shot. And here we have coming in the Zen team with Revolt, Buff, Redders and Jammy on the left hand side. And a flare has just been shot up, with Nia shooting towards Buff and getting shot herself, with the play zone continuing to take down members of various teams. The blue zone may also push team 11 in very shortly, with 1 minute and 6 seconds remaining before the blue zone changes. And there we see Lorelei getting knocked and Hayden being finished off, with Nia knocking Redders with a crossbow and getting shot at herself, with Storm being knocked. And there we see Storm being taken down there and Kratos being taken down by the play zone, with Dragon and Shanana being knocked by Fallen, with Fallen also getting a kill on Death Army and Wobbly with his infamous VSS getting Hacker there, and Zen Queen with a DP28, and Vape Nia getting a knock on Buff with a well thrown grenade there, with Revolt rotating to the right, Jammy on the left. It could well be a Zen sandwich very shortly for Vape Nia. And here comes the infamous Blue Zone pushing in Team 11 towards Nia, who herself will need to move shortly. And there we have the zone knocking Buff with a grenade going towards Jammy. And Nia being finished by Zen Jammy there. And Zen Buff getting some damage in also. And here we're looking at Knight, who has just been finished off, and Zen Queen and Wobbly being finished off by Jay there. And here we have Fallen in a BDRM being shot at. Although they call it the bulletproof vehicle, it can only go so far. And there we see Rafiki finishing off Fallen there. And here we are looking at Vol, who is camping inside of a shed at the moment in the final zone. So what they will want to do now is try and hold that compound and stop other players from making their way in. And as we can see, Team 16, Team 6 and Team 9 want a piece of this action too and are making their way in to the final zone. We are 25 minutes in, we have 10 players still alive, and the zone is moving in 20 seconds. And there we have Vol shooting at Team 16 with a DP28. And now you will see the amount of time it takes to reload, with players on Team 16 now healing and boosting, with Team 9 driving in. And there we see Vol getting a kill there, with Vape Danny being finished off by Jay. And we have Vape Christian and Vol and Rafiki still remaining. And a hello to Alex, who has just joined us very near to the end of game 1, but we still have game 2 and game 3 coming up, with Vol being shot at by Team 16 with 3v3, meaning that now is Team 3 against Team 16 for the win in game 1. And here we are still looking at Vol, who is prone on the top floor of their house at the moment, looking towards Team 16. And Team 16 has been spotted, and that is Vol getting a knock there, with smokes being thrown on the right hand side and shots being fired, with Rafiki knocking Chris, meaning there is one member of Team 16 standing. And there we have it, the end of game number 1, and we have Vape in first place, PDX in second, and AG in third. It has been a brilliant first match. We have matches 2 and 3 coming up shortly. So we will take a short break and we'll be right back. So please join us for games 2 of the Vape Squad Scrims. Thanks for watching.